I'm live. I'm here. Which camera am I? That one?
That one.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Alrighty then. I was working on this stuff to the last minute, so I didn't even get a chance to see my favorite show settle in on the screen.
It was really good. We talked about adding chainsaws to games that don't have chainsaws.
And they played Doom.
Games that don't have chainsaws, I don't even acknowledge.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, exactly. We're
Exactly.
like, we can get them on. We can get JACE to play them. Like, you ever play Harvest Moon?
Listen,
Wouldn't you play it if there was a chainsaw?
listen. I would play Dora the Explorer if she was carrying a chainsaw.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly. We
That's-
need some mods.
That's all I'm saying. Oh look, yes, I see Wolfman, SSD Ninja. Who else is this next week's episode? Yes, this is next week's episode live, happening. Yes,
Ash from the Evil Dead
Ash from the,
should be in the new Mortal Kombat because he has a chainsaw in his hand.
he does. Ash from the Evil Dead does have a chainsaw. Okay, so were there any particular hot issues that Settle It on the Screen was trying to settle that I needed to pay attention to?
Not really. We were talking about some individual games, I think, and some individual scores and whatnot. We were talking about a very important topic, which was the Twin Galaxies team for the Internet Gaming Bash of the Year.
I was thinking about that actually, because you guys, you know, the community is forming its own team under the Twin Galaxies because they're members, and they're like, okay, we're the Twin Galaxies team. But I was thinking maybe Twin Galaxies could put up some sort of prize if the Twin Galaxies team wins the tournament somehow. You know, like something, because that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what it would be? But what if it's like we create some kind of title or moniker that goes under your profile name if you guys win. If you don't, then I don't even know who you people are. No, just kidding.
I think that's a good. I think that's good.
Something like that.
I promise them if they get a top score in any game, and if they're on the Twin Galaxy team, they get a top score in the game, and they break an existing TG record, then I will pay for their certificate when they become available.
Oh, wow, that's very generous of you.
So,
why-
so let me also make a request and say, can you make sure the certificates are not over $20?
They're like 99 cents.
So I don't have to sell my house.
Yeah. Can someone start a thread on TG talking about cool things that TG might be able to do if the TG team wins the little competition, and then I'd love to see what the suggestions are, because maybe there's something cool we could do if people are going to self-organize, and then, you know, hey, we're from Camp TG, and then you guys run away with the win. Come on, TG's got to do something, right? I think that'll be fun. Make it more fun.
That'd be a nice gesture.
Yeah, I mean, let's try to make it more fun for the TG participants, and then the people who are not on the TG team, they'll just be jealous because they're not on the TG team, and the TG team gets, like, you know, Happy Meals and stuff.
I think if you really want to seal the deal, I think you should give us a title, if something decent, if just by participating, and then be like something like a really good like title or icon or something if we win.
Well, I think,
That would
okay,
be-
well, no matter what, I think TG should do something. So please start a thread, and we'll have everybody list out what
Cool.
TG might be able to do, and we'll figure out what was reasonable. But if you guys are going to rep TG on the tournament, then all right. Maybe, maybe TG creates exclusively, like, whatever, let's say there's 10 people on the TG team, and you guys win, TG exclusively creates 10 Twin Galaxies t-shirts that are one of a kind for this one particular thing and sends them out, or, something. Okay, so let's move on. TG buttons, TG hoodies, yeah. Okay, so let's move on to the state of the Galaxies. There's various things to talk about. Something exciting to talk about that I can only partially talk about, but it's exciting. Let's move on. Here we go. Boom. First of all, we have added 31,000 speedrun tracks and rules to the Twin Galaxies database. I don't need to tell you how much effort that took to accomplish. But because you have not only the games, but you have all the different difficulty levels, and then you have all the different individual levels on each difficulty level that the speedrun community likes to track. So, you know, the fastest on easy. Here's the 15 levels that you could do easy mode on. Now each one of those has to have its own. So, the plan. There is no plan that has been announced for October yet, other than the fact that there will be fun things to do there that relate to all these different video gaming platforms. But of course, be careful what comes out of my mouth, because it could be completely dishonest. Okay, so in any case, with the addition of all these speedrun tracks, and we've been making modifications to the database to be able to display it in the style so that you can find everything, because it requires a tree structure and all these sorts of things. You'll see some subtle changes with sort of drop-down tree hierarchy. In fact, here, look. Let me show you. So here, I will log in as the famous user. And, okay. So if we go to the database, is the database, is it up? Yeah, okay. You like the new Skype layout? Okay, so under the platforms, you see speedruns. When you click speedruns, it starts to list. So you can see the world is not enough has the difficulty setting. So inset into speedrun. So the full game, world is not enough for speedruns. If you click it, you'll get all of the full game speedrun categories. But if you're only going to play it on agent, 00 agent, then on a per level basis, so all the levels are separately listed. Anyway, we're going to make it so that you see how these are inset currently. We're going to make it so that when you click the master track, then the inset tracks will show up underneath. Probably make them a different color or something like that. And so it'll fold or reduce. So all of the rules for speedruns, let's take a look here on a separate page. What's a speedrun track that a lot of people use? We gathered all of the rules that people have set for speedrunning and have imported them into the database. So Alien versus Predator, the Alien campaign, the start time, all the stuff straight from that community. So
even the Super Metroid, like all those crazy different speedruns that they do?
Well, let's take a look. You have to understand there was 31,000 of them, and it took a huge... Let's look up Super Metroid, right? Let's see what's in there. Maybe
there's at least like 12 or 15 that they do.
I spelled that wrong. Well, we'll see what we got. Put it this way. Metroid Prime is in there. Super Metroid is not in there yet. We have Metroid Prime and Metroid.
Okay.
So if we look at Metroid, it doesn't look like some of the, like a lot of rules we looked at speedrun.com. We didn't go to like specific communities. We looked at speedrun sites that aggregate a bunch of different games. So there will always be, of course, specialized communities that specialize in just that one particular game. But there's two things that are important here. Number one is we've got like the vast majority of speedrun tracks here. Two, now there's a structure for people to add speedrun tracks, because on a speedrun track you can have multiple platforms that you're tracking. It's not just done on a per platform basis. So let's see, does user 133, is he verified? Does he have any points? He doesn't have a lot of submission points. But here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So if I go to a speedrun track, you'll notice that the submission form is a little bit different. So, okay, I'm playing Legends, and I want to submit a speedrun, get all 50 stars in MI6 ops mode. Okay, so I click submit, and I don't even have enough points. Let me log in as somebody else that has points, so I can show you. We will use the company Twin Galaxies account, which you should know is not always me. It is for staff. Well, I don't even know the password anymore. I'll try logging in as me. Nope, I got that one wrong too. This is what you call when everything's automatically logged in for you and you... Okay. That's got to be it. Yes, look at that. I'm in. Okay. So we will go to the speed rankings. And I'm going to submit on Legends. Boom. I don't even have points on my account. Gosh darn it. Twin Galaxies does though, hold on. You know why I don't have any points, submission points? Because I can't submit. That's why. I am subject to the rules just like everybody else. There's no shenanigans here despite my collusion and lies. Okay.
So, Jace, you know though, you can submit for Internet Gaming Bash of the Year if you want to lead the vanguard.
No, I can't. I think it's inappropriate for me to compete in that way. I can do, you know, I'll do exhibition stuff, but nothing that is official and on anywhere, because I just don't want Twin Galaxies to come across that way. All right, so I'm going to submit on Legends. Boom. Okay. So Legends is on, you know, can be on different platforms. And so you get to pick your platform that you actually did the run on. The rules will define what platforms are allowed ultimately. So in the adjudication process, there's no reason to have anything other than score elapsed time for a speed run. So that's already pre-chosen. And then video upload is there, and everything else is the same. But you can pick your region, NTSC, NTSCJ, PAL, China. That's all. This is all structured in the tradition of the speed run community. So it's here if they want to use it. We're working on the automatic Twitch download conversion. So if you have performances that are on Twitch, and you know, we're trying to make it so that you can just you can supply that link, it'll pull it down and then upload it into the Twin Galaxies system. We're working with Twitch specifically to figure out how the best way to do that. We are also working on adding, this is a good one, the ability to upload 3 videos instead of just 1. So you'll see, you know, in this section, 3 slots where you can put in 3 videos. So that way, either if you've broken up your performance into 3 videos, or if you want to show, like Jesse Porter's has 2 angles, camera angles that he films. he can now put them both in. Well, soon he'll be able to do that. So we're adding that. Also, let me hop out of this, and we will go back. And whoops, wrong button. We will do this. Yes. Okay. So that's the speedrun tracks. One thing that's being worked on right now is the ability for track founders to add derivative tracks for free. So that way, when they buy a game, like we'll just pick an Android game like, Pinball Arcade, they can then add all the tables underneath it as separate tracks without having to pay submission points, as long as they're a founder of the track. So it's, so we have to, that takes special engineering to deal with that. But really, the way it's currently contemplated to work is when you go to add a track, there will be a checkbox that you'll check to say, I'm a founder. You'll find the track that you founded, and then you'll be able to type in a new description, but you can't change the rules. Because if let's say you buy a track where it's Pinball Arcade, the Nibbler Arcade table, and the rules are 3 balls only, you can create the Zookeeper table, the Donkey Kong table, but all the rules have to stay the same. 3 balls only, 3 balls only. If you get into changing the rules, and that's effectively an entirely new track, and so that has to be purchased with submission points. So we're working on making that, so that way you will be able to populate all these platforms with all the different individual levels faster. This helps for speedrun stuff. It's just an overall thing. So that's being worked on right now. Okay, moving on. Infinite scroll, what does that mean? Okay, a lot of websites don't do this because it lowers the page views of their website. And when they're advertising on their web pages, it actually makes their advertising revenue go down. But let me show you what I'm talking about. When you go to the forum now, and let's say we go into the general discussion. And this is going to be added everywhere, but I'm pretty sure right now it's... So now when you go to the general discussion, if I scroll down, the scroll will go infinitely. The paging is gone. You see how it just keeps going and going and going? This is good because when we implement the mobile, you can just scroll. You can scroll down. So it just goes to the bottom of whatever your when you hit the bottom of the page. Now we're going to be removing all this stuff that you saw. See, it just expanded again. All this stuff, when I hit the bottom, we're going to remove because you can't ever really see it. And so you'll be able to keep scrolling. This will work now in the adjudication thread, I believe. Let me check. All right, so my preferences are like to load 200 at a time or something like that. So when you hit the bottom, yeah, so the adjudication will just keep scrolling on and on and on. And we're going to make the front page work that way too. So I don't think it does yet, but the goal is to, oh, wait, oh, it does, they fixed it. Yes, the front page will infinitely scroll now. Down and down and down and down and down. So this is good for mobile. It's bad for advertising because you don't get page clicks. But guess what? Twin Galaxies isn't advertising. Twin Galaxies is the church. You don't put ads in the church. There's no ads in the church. So just know that. This site is staying crisp and clean and fresh and agnostic and is not going to be influenced by the might of advertising dollars. Now, Twin Galaxies Live, on the other hand, will have all kinds of sponsors and ads, and that's fine. But twingalaxies.com, no. Not where the scoring and the statistics and all that stuff takes place. Okay. So, infinite scroll seems like not a big deal. Way harder to engineer than you think when you're modifying all this other code that I can't even, it's just, all these things are, it's like looking at, it's like it's the 1800s and you're looking at a microprocessor. You're like, oh, look at this little wafery thing. You're like, what it takes to make that, you have no idea. Okay, so let's move on. Let me check the text chat. All right, let's move on. Boom. Scoreboard errors. I just bring this up because we're constantly looking at the scoreboard errors thread and constantly fixing what's being reported. Some of these fixes are way more elaborate than you think. You know, the database is getting more and more modernized as we go. As you know, where we started, it's just please know that there's a significant amount of work that goes into fixing scoreboard errors, and it's making the database and all the help that the community has in finding stuff is really important. Really important. It's super helpful for us to make this the ultimate. Well, I can already tell you right now, with the 31,000 speedrun tracks and all the tracks that Twin Galaxies has, period, Twin Galaxies is by far the most comprehensive site for scores, period, under the sun. At this point, there's nothing that's actually close to it, and it's only going to continue to expand from there. And there's big news on that I'll get to. Moving on. Questions. Would it be possible to implement a poll within a poll system to decide the proper times for true speedrun tracks? There's always a lot of discussion regarding around the proper start and end times, how to measure them, etc. People end up submitting the same legitimate run multiple times in order to match what the community or the people that bother to comment decide. This is a waste of time, effort, and submission points. For example, a person A submits a speed run of 30 minutes on a game. Person B feels that the actual time is 30 minutes and 1 second. Person C feels it's 29 minutes and 59 seconds, etc. By some process, these people add these times to a poll that others can vote on, and then when the submission closes, the time with the most votes is the time that is entered into the scoreboard. So the answer to this question is no. No. And let me tell you why. The submission process is a clear process of, I am making a claim. I am claiming this fact. The entire process after that is deciding whether or not it agrees with that claim. It's not trying to, it cannot be designed to change your claim. Well, you're claiming 30 minutes, but you know what? We'll approve 29 minutes, right? So we're just going to approve that 20. Let's just change your claim right here in the process and then put that in the database. No, that opens up a world of problems when you suddenly have the group sort of changing what the claim is going into the database. The function always has to go straight through. I make a claim, yes or no. Yes, great, it goes in. No, sorry, bounced out. So whatever your evidence package is, it just needs to be convincing to match your claim, whatever that is. If it's not convincing enough to where you've got people saying, well, I watched a video and you know it looked like it's 1 second longer, and then you go, no, YouTube added the extra second to change it. These are all things that you have to figure out and work out. Twin Galaxies can't fix those things for you. But that's what makes score adjudication challenging. That's what makes score adjudication worthwhile and valuable at Twin Galaxies, because it's going through these processes to really to vet it out. Adding votes within the vote is just asking for trouble. But I understand the feeling that the desire here. I'm not saying that this desire is outrageous or anything, but there's no way to engineer out subjectivity completely. You can't do it. The Twin Galaxy system is about as far as anybody's taken to try to get rid of as much subjectivity as possible and be as objective, but there's still always, there's going to be these kinds of challenges, and there's no easy way to get around them. And to build a more convoluted system that confuses people, I don't think is the right step. Maybe we'll, look, we'll put it on the shelf for now. We won't throw this idea completely away, but we'll put it on the shelf, turn our attention to other matters that are a little more pressing. But there you go. I get that it's just to have the functionality there to help the submitter put a better time on, but I think the Twin Galaxies community, as it embraces more speedrunners, will figure out what the cadence is for these submissions. In the early stages, it's going to be, what it is. Okay, move on. Number 2. 2, 3, and 4 player submissions are currently headaches to submit on. Instead of forcing users to create an additional account to submit on these, can TG implement something like a team function where you can link your account to one or more individuals' account and then simply select the team? Okay. At some point in the future, we have to do something like this, grouping and forming teams. Because even for things like the TG team thing that's taking place now, to compete in that other, wouldn't it be great if there was like a way on the site to just go, to quickly group and click and totally 100% agree. And I like the fact that this question is coming up because it means we've moved past a lot of the basic stuff that needs to be done at Twin Galaxies now that we're thinking about this kind of thing. But we will get to this. Not anytime soon. We will get to dealing with this. That's a lot of work that you're talking about, and there are still some missing pieces to Twin Galaxies that we have to finish before we try to implement a system like this. But yes, you've identified something that must be addressed. That is my official answer on that. So much work, so little time. I mean, heck, I can't even get my zookeeping in now, okay? All right. Number 3. Wait. Start a thread in the soon-to-exist speedrun rules clarification subforum. All right. We currently have a PSI for who's the best gamer ever. We also know who's the best Sonic gamer, and that's Jesse Porter, but I digress. Ooh, is Michael Soroka taking that? Is he taking that? Jesse Porter has. So does Mike Soroka call Jesse Porter Dad? Does he when he needs advice on how to play Sonic, does he call Jesse and go, Dad, I'm trying to get these rings. Anyway, what I would like to know is who's the best NES player, who's the best Genesis gamer. Do you think each console could have its own derived track where it looks at? Okay, so this goes to the leaderboard stuff that we're working on. We absolutely want to have this kind of information and a whole bunch of other kind of information on the Twin Galaxies leaderboard, which is different than going into the database and just looking up score rankings on a particular game. We want to have and by the way, the suggestions that I saw in the thread asking the community what they want to see, all of them are great. So find that thread and add to it, but we're going to implement all of that stuff. You want to have best NES player, you want to have, I'd like to show best NES player by country, by like all these different, what is going on in Skype 4? Is that, oh, okay. I thought I was seeing other things there. Okay, so this will be answered. The answer is yes, we're going to do it. This is going to be answered in the leaderboard. We're working on the leaderboard. The leaderboard is sooner rather than later. It's on the near-term list. So here we go. Before track creation was implemented, talk about tracks perhaps generating submission points for its founders. Has any more thought? Yes. I think this is something that we want to do. And it's on the list. It's got to come behind things like founders being able to create derivative tracks, stuff like that. But this is something that we want because you can create a track, and the more people who submit on it generates you more submission points. So you're going to promote the track that you created by posting links to it around and say, hey, submit on my track, and you get this track promotion. Or you can become like a real estate baron and have all these tracks you've created and be hoarding submission points and spending them in all these other interesting ways that will be coming up on Twin Galaxies, which...
That's my plan, actually, Jace, is the Baron
Yeah.
thing. So
Oh.
I plan to create all these really great tracks and then do the bounty thing, which hopefully
Yes.
we can do that, and then I'm just going to retire on those points.
It's going to, I'm telling you, the leaderboard and the bounty and the track foundation, they all will work together in like really fun ways, right? And then Twin Galaxy, like, so players will be able to put bounties on things, of course, but then periodically Twin Galaxies will put huge bounties on certain achievements, like, like huge bounties. And so people will want to go for those. It's going to, adding fun to this is like ultimately what I'm trying to shoot for with all of these things working together. It just takes time to lay this enormous foundation so that the fun factor can go way up. It's like building a massively multiplayer online game. There's just so much that goes into it, but once all the systems are working together, it's just going to be fun to play the game, submit scores, interact with all the other players, and challenge each other. So let's move on. What's the news on the certificate? The news is that there's no news. The news is that basically all the other things get in front of the certificate issue. It's like I just can't get time. We're going to have certificates. I promise they're coming. And I want the certificates to be unique and not copyable. It's like money. I don't want people to be able to print out their little PDF and go, oh, I got a certificate. No. These things need to be authenticated, unique, on special paper, printed up, like totally custom, just for you, so that you know that it's valuable, right? And that it has to be earned, that no one could just gone out and just buy one and try to copy one and all that stuff. So that's why it's taking longer, because how much Twin Galaxies cares about what that is. Because it also ties into something else, which is at some point in the future, there will be the all-new versions of the Twin Galaxies trading cards. Walter Day has the Walter Day trading cards, which are great and wonderful, and they appreciate people for whatever Walter feels they need to be appreciated for, and that's fine. The new style of Twin Galaxies trading card will be totally statistically driven. You simply will not be able to get a card, be on a card, you're ranking. It's like baseball. Like, you got to have, there's no, like, and so, and that falls in line with, like, the issuing of certificates and all these other things. And so just know that there is a comprehensive thought towards immortalizing players in a very legitimate way that isn't subject to whether I like somebody or not, right? It doesn't have anything to do with that. The thing I like about Twin Galaxies is over the course of time, a player will have a indisputable profile and set of records and rankings that no organization, whether it's ESPN or whatever, can argue with. So then we immortalize those things. It's just going to be amazing. Let's see. All right. Let's keep going. Any news about the Guinness Book World Records Gamer Edition? Did they reveal what scores they chose? All of them? When's it out? Well, here's what I can tell you. It's up to Guinness to reveal all the things. It will come out, I guess, whenever the 2016 book comes out. But, oh yeah, I have personally seen the layout and all the scores that they have chosen and the whole 9 yards, period. and they have it is definitely the best representation of twin galaxies in Guinness so far. They chose actual pictures of people in the community who hold records and have put their pictures in, not a lot of them, but they are, there will be, I mean, there will be people, and you'll be like, man, and like, in new scores that were submitted, right? Not like, so, and of course, the relationship between Twin Galaxies and Guinness is really good, and it's growing. And soon I'm going to need to get out to London because of what because we're going to be doing something that, okay, so let me just put a pin in that and move on. I'll come back to that in a second. No, SSD, Guinness only put a picture of your dog, not you. Okay. Oh yeah, Mitten Kitten saw the layout too, so she can confirm that I am not, well, if you can get over the sheer amount of unethical, voluminous lies that are pouring out of my face and maybe believe that I'm saying something about Guinness, it might be true, then clearly I have fooled you. Okay, let's move on. Oh, look, that's the end, so I can talk about stuff. All right. Okay, so listen to me, please. Please, for all that is holy, listen to me, community, and share this part of the video, because I really want you to understand this. In the big picture of Twin Galaxies, here's what's happening. We have secured a plan and an opportunity. That is a really scary face in TG Live 2. Do that again. Let's see the face. Make it. Yeah, if you ever saw The Exorcist, there's a flash of that face that guy shows. Like, it's literally that expression. Like, if you look up Exorcist, if you type in Exorcist scary face, you'll see the image, and that he's totally doing it. Okay, sorry, I got frightened for a second. Okay. Twin Galaxies has secured an opportunity that is going to happen, okay? And when it executes on this opportunity, it is going to generate more media exposure and marketing than anything in the history of video game scorekeeping or tournaments in video games or anything. This will, I can't see how it doesn't go onto the front page of CNN, how it isn't covered by places like Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, The View. I cannot see how it will not be covered by ESPN, all these sorts of things. I can't tell you what this is, okay? But I'm telling you, it's a one-of-a-kind, never, ever happened before in the history of ever, big to-do that even your parents would pay attention to. Okay. And it's going to draw a tremendous amount of attention right onto Twin Galaxies. Just know that that is going to be the case. Mitten Kitten can confirm that this, okay, so knowing that when we execute this, the entire country is going to go to Twin Galaxies. It is important that Twin Galaxies, the website, is ready for that kind of primetime exposure. Right now, while the community understands what they're looking at and understands everything, the basic person out there will get frightened by the Twin Galaxies side because of the amount of detail that sits on the. So, a lot of effort is going into simplifying the site, making it easier. That's why you're starting to see that infinite scrolling. There will be mobile, all these sorts of things. There'll be a really nice front page presentation for someone who just shows up all new. It'll, hey, register, submit your performance, be recognized. Something very easy. Everything is will be graphical with buttons and you click and all that other stuff. So until we are able to sort of achieve that with the site, and it will help, your feedback is always helping, making the database and all this other stuff more usable and without error. Until we get the site ready for that primetime moment, we can't do the primetime thing that we can uniquely do. And I promise you, discounting all my lies and corruption, I promise you that no other record-keeping site, nothing will have anything close to what we're about to do. Nothing. It's going to be, it's one of these things is when it happens, you're going to go the people will have heard about it. They will come to you and they say, what is this Twin Galaxy? Did you hear about and because they're going to be going like this. What? So, it's super big news. If you can believe my lies, believe this. It's going to be enormous. I could not have, you can't buy what this is. You can't even, I couldn't have predicted. It's just one of those things. It's like walking through the forest and behold in the middle of the forest with a beam of light shining onto the rock, Excalibur is sticking up, and you grab it and it just comes out in your hand. You're like, what? And they're like, okay. So, please encourage everybody that you know to participate on Twin Galaxies now before the onslaught of the entire country. And probably, I don't see it. I think Japan, Europe will definitely take notice of what this is. Get in now and get your scores in and compete on as many tracks as you can. Do it now. Because we have basically the ultimate marketing moment that's coming. The ultimate marketing moment. Something you never even believed or dreamed would ever come to the video game ideal, to suddenly make what we do, what we're participating in, clearly recognized, clearly credible, clearly of interest to the masses. And so anyway, I digress. It's big news. Big news. And I'm not kidding. It's really big. I think, how much time do I got, Neo?
You got 10 minutes.
Oh, Shiza Minnelli, I got 10 whole minutes. So I'm going to open this up to questions in general. Does anybody have suggestions, questions, concerns?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes. You floated.
Disembodied.
I know. You're a floating head in blackness. That's it. And a hand appeared.
I bet he's going to ask where his body is.
Yes.
Oh, I know where my body is. JACE ate it. Anyways, explain the arcade to us.
The arcade. Okay. The Twin Galaxies Arcade and Esports Center is a private facility that ultimately is going to serve a function for the Twin Galaxies community to hold its Olympic-style achievement events multiple times a year. So, and the idea, of course, is instead of having, a single sort of contest or tournament there, we're going to do, one of the ideas was completely replicating the That's Incredible broadcast, tournament that they did for that in 1983. Okay, we could do that, but also over here are the Mobile Olympics, where everybody's competing across 10 of the top mobile games. They qualified on the Twin Galaxies scoreboard, so now they're here. Oh, back over here is the classic Nintendo Entertainment System Championships. And then over there, We're having so to have more of an Olympic style set of events going on in a closed environment where all the machines and all the setups are always the same every time you go, everything's the same. Like a golf course, right? The golf course is always the same. And it's purely there for the benefit of the participating Twin Galaxies community. Maybe once a year it'll get opened up to the public for a fee in the tradition of the Arcade Expo. So you pay to go there, whatever it is, $30 for a day or 2 days or whatever it is, and then there's going to be so that is an effort that you'll see take shape inside of the upcoming Twin Galaxies Entertainment Festival, so which will be in October, and that's just more. There will be some tournaments and competitions there, but also there will be music and top bands and all these other entertainment. The idea there is, let's see how that works, because theoretically we have enough physical space to build the equivalent of the video game Comic-Con year after year in that location. You know, it's not E3. E3 is not a Comic-Con. That's like we're just people. It's more like a Comic-Con where you know, people are going and can appreciate and dress up and play games, and there's tournaments. It's like a giant Renaissance fair, but it's huge. There's a bunch of land outside. There's a park, a basketball court, concert area. So that's going to develop over time. And then, so you have this sort of giant once public use and then private uses only during the year for people who rise up in the scoreboard, right, to get the invitations across all the different platforms to come and compete. And of course, it'll be broadcast live and so forth and so on. I'm trying to figure out how to broadcast the Kong Off live, but I'm waiting for Richie Knuckles to call me back, because he was going to tell me what the internet's like there. He doesn't say. He says it's not that good. So we may not be able to broadcast the Kong Off with any quality. And so I don't want, you know, I'm going to go there. I think I'm going to go to the Kong Off just to meet people and, you know, say hello. But I don't know if we'll be able to broadcast if the internet isn't good there. You might get some individuals broadcasting out of there off of their phones or something, but I don't. If we're going to do the Kong Off broadcast, I'd like to make it so you could really see everything and participate. But I said Richie Knuckles. I did. Isn't that amazing?
I feel obliged to point out that Rock Band 4 will be available in the beginning of October. Do you want to include that somehow?
In what?
In the Twin Galaxies event in October?
Oh, well, I posted a thread asking people what sort of tournaments they wanted to see, and no one really responded. So well, I'm going to have to figure that out. Also, if you want to oversee a tournament there, basically run your own tournament, but there during the festival, put that up on the Twin Galaxies forums too, because I'm open to that too. So you can kind of have your own. It's your tournament, you know, the Dawn Atreides tournament, but it's being held up, and you know, we have equipment there and all this other stuff. The Twin Galaxies Entertainment Festival is supposed to be just all about fun, really. You know, fun.
Everyone gets a little trophy of me.
Yes, a bobblehead.
Just a little bobblehead, exactly.
Yes.
Just like real life.
So you get, if I hold the tournament, you get a picture of the disembodied head then.
Yes.
It's really just a softball with a face painted on it, but yeah.
Okay. What else am I leaving out? If FGC Live it will be on tonight, I will not keep bloviating. I'm only going for an hour. Trust me. Was there anything else? Oh, I have 3 minutes left.
Stop wearing sweatpants. Wear jeans.
No.
What's the matter?
Listen to me. Sweatpants are for people who are working so hard they sweat. And that would be me. We did some work on the live stream page. We're going to be doing more work on it in terms of its speed and all this other stuff. But basically, well, as soon as it pops up, right? So you notice that there's all these live streams. It looks like Box 730 streaming Donkey Kong. We're streaming. You can see the status, and a lot of these people who have streams have not created a thumbnail for themselves, so nothing shows up. But ideally, what we want to have is everybody who does stream listed in here, and then when you go live, it'll pop up at the top. We'll be able to propagate that to the front page so people can see the other streams. So some work has been done on that as well. And has anybody had any problems with the drop-down menu system or anything like that? Has it just worked?
Yeah, it works. It's a good system.
Okay, good. Was there anything else that I'm leaving out? Oh, YouTube. Just so that you know, we are leading the forefront in the conversation of what is okay to post with, or versus what can be claimed against. And because periodically you'll post up a video game performance, and a company will make a claim against that performance, right? And say, oh no, it's Mario. We own Mario. You can't have a video of Mario. And most of the gamers just immediately back down and say, oh, because why should they get in an argument? Well, see, Twin Galaxies is keeping an actual record of people's amazing performances. That's what we're doing. Don't tell us that we cannot keep a record of a person's performance. We're going to have an argument about that. Because while we can agree that if someone just loads your game and then records the intro sequence and just plays it on YouTube, yeah, that's like buying a DVD and just playing the DVD and records it and putting it on YouTube. No difference, right? But what we're showing is the player's performance. The player's performance you don't own as a company. The player owns the performance. That's what we're watching. It's a very important issue that Twin Galaxies will continue to lead the charge on, because we believe that what you're doing within the game is an expression of skill and art onto yourselves, and that is not automatically owned by the corporate entity that made the game. If you buy Call of Duty from Activision and then you do an incredible speed run through a level, they don't own your performance. It's a totally unique performance. Never be the same a second time. It's nothing, you created that, right? So players have rights, and it's something that we're going to have to continue to look at and work with companies on and all this other stuff, because we're not trying to make money off of that. We're trying to keep accurate records. So I have 4 seconds left, so I'm going to say good night, good luck, I'm out.
Twin Galaxies.